At the end of the day, making art is about taking your ideas and executing them. Of course, that's also probably the hardest part. Okay, so here we go. If you look at any artist you care for, the first thing you're really going to understand about that artist is they have a really distinct point of view. And in fact, that distinct point of view carries out into all of their work. It's the thing that really confirms and refines and makes their work their work. It's why they stand out. That point of view, your point of view, is what people want to see in your artwork. Will there be every once in a while somebody's like, oh, I like that picture of a frog playing the banjo or whatever it might be. Yeah, you'll catch people off and on with stuff like that. But to look at your body of work seriously and have it taken seriously, you have to have a point of view. So let's build that point of view. Here's a couple ways to get it done. So what do we do to really start our path of really focusing our point of view and showing it into our work? And the thing that we really need to understand is maybe we're painting. I've seen artists with websites like this. They'll have a few links. One will say photography, one will say landscapes, one will say still lifes, one will say abstracts. And I think what their thought is that to be a well-rounded artist, you have to be able to work in all of those mediums. The truth is far from that. Most people want to see you kind of, if you're a photographer, you're a photographer. If you're a painter, a realist, or kind of a traditional painter, figures, landscapes, still lifes. If you're an abstract painter, you're an abstract painter. You really shouldn't have a way that you can say, well, I have these three bodies and they're all very different and they're just what I do. What you're really doing is you're still kind of dabbling around and figuring out what interests you in that point. The real heavy lifting is going to come when you commit to one of those areas. And when you commit to one of those areas, everything else just kind of goes away for a while, and then you start diving in deeper to the other things. And it's that commitment is the beginning of finding your voice. So there's a number of ways to start kind of developing your voice and understanding what you like. And there's simple things to do. I like to call it research and gathering. And it's kind of the same thing, right? These days we do too much just pure research on the internet. Maybe we left click a picture or something like that. What we were doing back in my day, because I'm ancient, was we would get pictures, we would cut them out of magazines or what have you, we would make folders, and in those folders would be things that we like. In other videos of mine, you've seen like an inspiration wall that's behind me. It's kind of there today, but I've got a bunch of stuff sitting in front of it. But you know, you look at these things and they're like, oh, I like this, I like this, I like this texture, I like this smoothness, I like this, or what have you. And you start looking at these ideas and things that you really, really care for. And they're the things that work best for you. And suddenly you know what you're drawn to, you know how you want to talk about it. And that alone gives you a lot of opportunity to really understand what it is that interests you. Because if you look at 15 images that you really, really like, you'll start finding all the kind of threads that connect those together. And it's clearly that thread that's going to be what's interesting to you. Not that maybe you like the style of this photograph and the subject matter of this photograph and maybe the color of this or whatever, you know, whatever you're pulling out, I don't know. But that's the thing you've got. And you have those kind of ideas that you've brainstormed and the research you've done and the references you have. And now you've got this kind of, for a better word, this kind of souffle of images and ideas that you're going to kind of massage into a piece, and it's going to start you on your next step. So part 2 of this is to use your sketchbook and refine your ideas. Really push those ideas. It reminds me of my 3rd year of college, and I was at the Corcoran School of Art at this point. It no longer exists, but that's a whole different story. The entire 3rd year was put into image and idea development. There were weeks where we would make 100 to 200 pieces of art kind of based on the same ideas, but we just rapidly prototype things out and get them moving, get our brains moving, try new things, try another new thing, try another new thing, and just move it. And I'll be honest with you, at the time, I fucking hated it. I really did. I hated every minute of doing that. It really felt retrograde and really felt like it was doing something that I didn't need to do. Oddly enough, it's the kind of thing that I'm really thrilled I did and one of the most important things I got out of art school. That being able to sketch and push your ideas and refine your ideas really allows you to find your voice and kind of really dial in your voice to the right octaves. It lets you focus on exactly what it is you want to focus on, and kind of forces you to do that. Anyway, it's kind of like eating vegetables sometimes. You don't really want to do it, but they're probably the healthiest thing on your plate. My third year of art school was probably the healthiest thing on my plate, and I probably hated it the most. And my apologies go out to the teachers that had me that year, Steve Cravant, Bob Stackhouse, a number of others, because I'm sure I was no fun to be around that. Anyway, if you really want to focus your voice and find a way to give voice to the work you make, these are some ideas you have to deal with, and you have to get through them so you can actually find that voice and then show the great work that you do. That's kind of do it for me today. I appreciate your time. I hope things are going well. Like and subscribe if you can. Thanks.